You are a flaxen-haired pirate who smears black pitch under her eyes for the +2 bonus to intimidation. It's a man's world, after all. You are a green-skinned half-orc debutante who is so saddened by her mannish looks that she has resorted to the study of illusion magic. You are the wife of a Viking jarl, and you wear the plundered treasures of your family's enemies as a show of strength. You are any and all of these things because of cosplay. When I first joined Dungeons and Toast, I had never cosplayed. Sure, I'd had my share of last-minute Halloween costumes, pop star, flapper, black cat, basically anything I could put together at the last minute going to Goodwill. But when I first visited Dungeons and Toast, I noticed that Kelly was wearing an Ewok hat. And that made me think, wait, is that a thing we can do? Can I do that? It was that day that I bought my very first cosplay piece, this underbust brown corset. I think it cost me $15 on Amazon, and at the time, I remember feeling a little guilty about the frivolous expense, but I got over it. It would be a few weeks before I started to wear a costume to every meeting, starting with my icebreaker, Stradislana, in which I reprised the role of Strad von Sarovich. Well, a female version of Strad von Sarovich. The speech was well received, both because it was over the top. I had the benefit of not knowing where the top was supposed to be, and because I'd gone the extra mile and worn a costume. I just remember loving the feeling that I was somebody completely different than the woman that went to her corporate Toastmasters club every Thursday at noon. I was in love. I have since had the joy of seeing other members start to wear costumes, some regularly, and we as a club incentivize this behavior by giving bonus experience points if you do. I also incentivize my players in the games that I run by awarding inspiration at the start of the game if you wear any costume piece representing your character. Now, if you've ever played a video game RPG, such as Diablo, Baldur's Gate, World of Warcraft, or Skyrim, you're probably familiar with an inventory screen. But for those of you who aren't familiar with an inventory screen, they're basically just a user interface with a series of boxes into which you can drop articles of clothing that usually give your character some mechanical benefit. However, sometimes they're just there to look cute. I have found it helpful to think of costuming similarly, and the more slots you fill, the more elaborate and complete your costume. Now, for me, these slots are head, hair, face, and ears, neck, chest, hands, and wrists. And if you're costuming in person, you have the extra pieces of waist, legs, and feet. You fill all of these and you have built a complete and very detailed costume. This slot method is also really convenient for organizing your accessories because it can help you decide what is possible to add to a costume you're building. For example, if we were to have a meeting on the theme Greek philosophy, I would almost certainly start building my costume with the one toga I own. But then I would go box by box, slot by slot, and look at the pieces that I had that would complement or work with that particular base. It makes it really easy. Now, the different slots have different levels of impact. And most people would probably argue that the chest slot, your overall outfit, is the most impactful. And I tend to agree. However, for me, best bang for the buck and the most fun is actually the hair slot, most specifically wigs. Actually, two of my characters, Kiki and Lucifera, both started as wigs. Let's look at both of those. Here I have Kiki's wig. When we planned the Manticore campaign, I didn't know what I wanted to play. All I knew was I wanted her to be related in some way to the Witchlight Carnival. And then I saw this wig. with its platinum tresses and its pink tips. It was perfect. So I got the wig and I said, okay, who's under there? What is this? I didn't know what class I was going to play. I just knew that I had to have the hair. So what do we know about this character? Well, she's a blonde. And unfairly or not, we tend to associate blondes with a certain amount of flightiness. So I made sure to incorporate that as part of Kiki's character. But these pink ends say something is special about this particular blonde. She is an artist who cares deeply about how the world perceives her. She goes to all this trouble to dye her tips pink. One thing I wasn't expecting when I received this wig, these bangs right here are actually quite long. And the first time I wore it, I spent the whole night digging them out of my eyes because they are too long. I suspect the manufacturer expected me to trim them. But I decided actually that I kind of liked the look. I liked the idea that here was a character who was so caught up in the things that she loved that she didn't have time for mundane things like a haircut. So I decided to keep them. Now, Lucy's wig, on the other hand, Lucy did start with a character class. I knew that Lucy was going to be a necromancer. So when I first started shopping for her, I looked at kind of stereotypical black long wigs, white long wigs, different lengths, different curly levels, but none of them really jumped out at me as something special. And then I happened to stumble across this ashen blue wig with these black ombre roots. And I said, that is a special necromancer. This blue reminded me of the effect of hypoxia. For those of you who don't know, hypoxia is the effect that happens sometimes when someone dies due to lack of oxygen. So their lips might turn blue. This reminded me of corpse blue, which made it really special. Now, because her hair is blue and I didn't want to make her look like an ice princess, it was really important that I lean more heavily in the direction of evil necromancer and other aspects of her costume. So she does tend to wear a lot of black and skulls and things of that nature. Unlike Kiki and Lucy, Hannah actually started as, oh God, please, not another wig. This character was chosen because I did not want to have to spend another year of 4+ hours RPG playing in a hot, heavy, tight, itchy wig. So I said, okay, given my natural hair color, what race could I possibly play? Well, a red fox made sense if I have red hair. I don't actually have red hair, but I will have red hair until this campaign is over. If I have red hair, but when I told Greg, hey, it would be really cool, I sure wish, well, he was gracious enough to go ahead and homebrew us a kitsune race. So Angel and Robert, you have my hair to thank for your ability to play foxes. Hannah is actually a great example of slot by slot building because that's exactly how I started out with her. So I had the hair, obviously, and I bought ears to match. I added earrings, so that's my ear slot. That was a bit of a challenge. At first, I was looking at earrings that I would wear here, but I realized if my ears are supposed to be up here, then I probably needed to put them up here. And face paint. Let me tell you about face paint. If you were looking to get into cosplay and you want a huge bang for your buck, face paint is it. This little palette contains 24 colors with an extra large size of black and white. And it costs it's $24, 20 colors. I've used it probably 30 times and I haven't even put a dent in it. This will last me probably forever. I love face paint. You can make all sorts of looks and not just animal looks. Obviously, it's ideal for creating animal looks, but you can do scary humans. You can use these metallic paints to embellish a goddess look. It's just great stuff. And there are tons and tons of YouTube tutorials that you can use for anything you could dream up. Somebody's probably already done a version of it that you can try to replicate. The face paint that I did tonight is actually a combination of 4 tutorials that I found for different parts that I really liked that I wanted to incorporate. In addition, foxes are furry. but I didn't want to be covered in fur because that would be really hot. That would defeat the purpose of not wearing the wig. So I found these two furry pieces. This is just a white fur scarf and two little wrist muffs, and then a pair of regular, very thin black fingerless gloves. If you're going to wear gloves for a camera-based cosplay, make sure they're fingerless, because otherwise they will interfere with your ability to type and to mouse, which I discovered early on. Hana, Kiki, and Lucy are all recurring characters. But the last thing I wanted was for each of them to have one outfit, one set of makeup, one hairstyle, because that would be boring and inexpensive. So let's talk about ways that you can make a recurring character more fun and dynamic by changing out different parts of them, but what parts to keep the same. Obviously, for this character, she's defined by this face makeup and these ears. If you see this, you know that that's the character I'm probably playing. I can layer other things on top of this. I can put on a kimono. I can put on a corset and a regular medieval shirt with this, and you would still be able to tell I was a fox. For Lucy, she's got that wig to define her. You're going to see her coming. She's going to tend to wear black, and she's going to have recurring common iconography with the skulls and the bones. She's got skull earrings. Basically, you're looking for things that are touchstones for that particular character. For Kiki, she likes the colors pink and purple. So I tried to make sure that every time I put together an outfit for Kiki, it incorporated one of those colors. I hope that tonight's celebration of International Cosplay Day will inspire your experimentation with real world cosplay. Why not take that extra step into your character? Try it out for yourself and see if it doesn't help you get into character when you're going to play in an RPG, or maybe just improve upon your Halloween game this year. Finally, I am happy when anyone asks me for advice about a costume. So if you are trying to improve your hair and gun costume, or maybe you haven't even started it, you're not sure where to start, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would be happy to give you my thoughts.